Don't become an expat, do this instead.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people when they are looking either to retire early or maybe just at retirement age and they are deciding maybe to move to a new location and they look at just going to that one location, settling down, setting up a new life there, but is there a better option?
Yeah, that's what we originally wanted to do. We had picked a place, that's where we were going to go, and a light bulb went on at some point, and we decided not to do that, and we got a few reasons why.
Yeah, so in this video, we are going to be just kind of going through all those benefits to why instead of settling down and becoming an expat in one location, why slow travel might be a better option for you.
Now, the first benefit is flexibility. The flexibility to move around and visit multiple places within the same region.
I think for us, this was probably one of the biggest appeals was, you know, as we started looking into it more and we were going to just be landing ourselves in one location and then doing day trip, or not even day trips, but say weekend getaway kind of, that's what our plan was. And then we started looking into the slow travel, and you are able to just move from location to location, and it just became more and more appealing.
Yeah, you just adjust as you see fit. If you have a plan moving forward and you decide to maybe get off that plan and do something different, you can do it because you're not anchored in one spot.
The next major plus is just the reduced administrative burden. You are going to have a lot more paperwork and things that you're going to have to take care of to become a temporary or permanent resident in a location.
Right. You know, right now we look forward to maybe a visa that we might have to purchase in order to go into any said country. But a lot of times we don't even have to do that. We just show up, they stamp our passports, and we're good to go for the amount of time that we're allowed. It's just one process that we don't have to worry about.
Yeah, so if you're looking to settle down in one location, I mean, you're really dealing with just a lot of different things they're going to require of you. They may require a bank setup. They may require, your, you know, like I said, the visa process and all just those other, the rental agreements, everything, just that bureaucracy that goes into it all.
Right, you know, the banking thing, you don't only have to set up a bank account within that country, but it might come with a few $1,000s as well that you may or may not have. There can also be less financial commitments if you stay moving around.
Right. You know, when you are looking at settling in one place, you are going to have to do a rental agreement. You're going to have to pay for that. And in some locations, those rental agreements, they make you commit for like 2 years, even though my understanding is a lot of them you can get out of earlier than that. But you're making a commitment and usually putting down quite a lot of money. So that's tying you down quite a bit.
It can tie you down. Now, financially, it may be beneficial because you may be paying for that accommodation less per month, but up front it's going to cost you a lot more. And remember, the flexibility was #1 on this list. It does not allow you to be flexible at all.
Right. And then also with those things that you're going to be paying for as well is going to be utilities.
Right.
You know, when you are looking and just getting a short-term stay, that's kind of all bundled into that cost. Granted, you're still paying for those utilities because the owner has bundled them in there, but you know what your payment's going to be.
Right.
You know, so you've got all those different things. You're going to have to set up, say, cable. You're going to have to set up your internet. There's just a lot more things that you're going to have tying yourself in a location.
Yeah, so tying in the location, and with that internet, with all those come bills, your mailbox, you're going to go through that whole thing again where now you've got to open bills each month. When you're on the move, you're not doing that.
One of the things that we probably enjoy most is the freedom to move on. You know, sometimes you get bored.
Yeah, again, staying flexible. What if we show up to a location and we just don't like it? We have left locations that we were supposed to be in for a month after 3 weeks. Yeah, you know, now obviously if you're going to tie yourself down someplace, you've probably been there already, you've probably scoped it out, but what if you get to a point where you're 2 or 3 months down the road and it's just not what you thought it was going to be? This way, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I think there's just such a beauty in being able to be that flexible that if we are just not happy in a location, we can just pick up well, we're not picking up a whole lot. We just got our carry-on bags.
Right.
But then we're just moving to a new location, you know. And this also goes for even settling down. Maybe it's not just the place the country that you've decided to settle down in or the city, but it could be the location you decided to rent that apartment in. Maybe you
Right.
found out that you're not really happy there. Maybe there's dogs barking all the time or whatever, you know. It just is for us. The longest we have to deal with a place is just as long as we have reserved it for, which is no more than a month usually.
Yeah,
at a
and
time.
sometimes we don't even do that. Sometimes we get out early. You get a bad landlord, you want to move out, you can do it. Now, maintaining our connections back home with family and friends is also a lot easier for us because we're not tied down at one location. We know we can go home whenever we want to.
Right, and it's so much easier for us because we can plan our visits home within our year of travel. We know when we're going home and we can just kind of schedule it in. But the beauty of that comes with we're not paying for a household that we decided to. So you can still do it if you have residency somewhere, but you are still paying your rent. You're still paying all of those costs that you had in your place where you're living now. You know, we don't have that.
We
We
don't
get to
have
just
that.
go home, do a house sit, stay with family, and not have those extra expenses.
Not have those extra expensive. Beers cost a lot more back home, so we
Yes.
do have an extra expense
We do
there,
have that.
but we don't have that rent.
Yeah, so I think that flexibility also of being able to not being tied down to a location, I think for us would feel very you wouldn't want to go home as much.
Right.
You know, it'd be like, well, I guess we're going home. You know, now we're going home 3 times a year, and
Right.
we would definitely not be doing that because your expenses are just going to be a bit higher. You know, with all those things that we mentioned that you're already paying for.
And not only that, but there are also restrictions on how long you need to maintain residency within that country in order to take advantage of their benefits. If you're gone for too long back home visiting family, you may lose those benefits.
Now, the other area in the flexibility we love is just being able to explore as many areas as we want to. You know, we may arrive to an area and stay in that same area or that same country for 3 months and then move to another, or may just be in one country for 1 month. So
Right.
I just think, once again, we can just kind of do whatever we want within reason, obviously. But I don't know, world is kind of our map. We can just pick where we
The
want
world
to
is
go.
our oyster.
There you go.
Now, we did do this at one point. We finished our trek through Romania, the Balkans, and we moved pretty quick. We got to Croatia, and we didn't want to do anything. We settled down for 2 months in Croatia. We had a great apartment, so we just decided to stay, a flexibility we otherwise would not have had. Personal growth. Now, what do I mean by saying that? When you're moving around like we are, you're dealing with different languages, different currencies, different everything. And let me tell you, it is stimulating, and it really makes you understand the world around you, literally. And it does kind of bring you a heightened sense of responsibility.
You know, I think that this was one thing that that I know I really loved, is that we had lived in our hometown for the majority of our lives, and you know, you got tired of the routine, tired of everything just being the way it was. Well, when you go settle into another country, sure, that is going to be new for a little while, but you know, even after we've been in one location for a month, we figured it all out.
Yeah.
We know how to use a transportation. We know where the grocery store is. When you slow travel and you move all the time, it's every month that you are adjusting, or more often, adjusting to everything.
Yeah.
Some may not like that, but for us, we do. It is just stimulating. It keeps your mind working. It keeps us, we're never bored.
We're never bored. And that kind of brings me back to what I just said. It keeps you on your toes. Now, there is something to be said for getting into a routine and slowing down, like we did in Split, Croatia. And that time may come, but we don't have to do it all the time. We just do it when we want to.
Now, healthcare. Often you may pick a location and love the location, but the location doesn't offer the best healthcare. But you know, if you're stuck there, as far as you have residency there, your medical insurance typically is going to also be through that country, especially if you have permanent residency. If you carry a healthcare plan like we do, we can go anywhere in the world, and so we can kind of navigate our travels to the locations that have really great healthcare, and we've done that a couple times.
We've done that a couple times. Thailand, I think that we would go back to Thailand when we need a checkup or a physical, because we know the system, we know it's good health care, and we know we can afford it. So why not just go back there when we need to get a checkup?
Yeah, and the thing is like, you know, the beauty of it is that we had the full medical checkup there. So if we want to have another full medical checkup done, we can just navigate our travels. Next time we're in Southeast Asia, drop into, we did ours in Chiang Mai, but we would probably just do Bangkok at the hospital there, have our full checkup done, get it done, and go. You get the results immediately. So we can just kind of adjust our travels accordingly. The other place that we did this for was, I am having dental work. I'm going to be finishing up here shortly. And to be able to just go there, I had a implant done, which in the States would have cost me really around $5,000, if not more, and I ended up having it done, the complete process, for $780.
Right.
Now, granted, it took me 3 trips there.
There would be Turkey.
It would be Turkey, yes.
There is Turkey.
Yes, Turkey, yes. Sorry. And, you know, and we've done a video where we covered that more in depth of the process, but, you know, it wasn't a big deal for us because we're slow traveling, so we can just navigate our travels accordingly to where we need to go for that.
And, you know, Turkey isn't your only option for that dental. Hungary, Croatia, there's a few others that are also very, very adequate at their dental program. So search that out if you feel like you need to. We're able to, because we're not tied down to one location. Okay, now this is a big one. This is one we get all the time. What about your taxes? How do you pay your taxes? When you slow travel like we do, you pay your U.S. taxes just like you normally would if you were back home.
Or wherever you're from. Yeah.
Wherever you're from back home, just like you normally would. So it's not something you're ever going to get out of. You got to pay your taxes. We pay ours online every year.
Yeah. Now, but this is different if you have set up home somewhere and you are now a resident in another country. You are going to have a tax liability to that country. So you are now doing taxes in your home country as well as the new country that you have residency. You know, there's certain agreements where you may not owe anything necessarily to the U.S., but you still have to file taxes in both of these countries now. And, you know, to us, that's just something we didn't want to deal with.
It's back up to the top of this video where we talked about paperwork and bureaucracy. Just one step you don't have to worry about if you're doing it the way we do it.
Now, with slow travel, you can still have balance, because that is something that a lot of people are looking for when they say pick being an expat in a one location and having that consistency and getting to know a place. You can absolutely still have that in slow travel by just picking to stay in a location for a longer stretch of time.
Right. We had a commenter a few months back say, so you're trying to tell me I can spend 3 months in this country, 3 months outside of the Schengen in this country, come back into a different country inside the Schengen forever? Yeah, you could, as long as you're paying your U.S. taxes, you can. But yes, you can do that 3 months at a time, all year long.
Right. And, you know, we know people that they'll stay in, say, they have the city in this town that they absolutely love, and they are able to stay there for, say, 3 months, and then they leave for the 3 months, come back, but they've now built relationships with other people there. They have friends when they go back, but they've also maybe built a relationship with the person they rent from. So they already have this like 3-month contract they can walk into. You know, so I think that you can still have that sense of being settled without necessarily having to fully settle yourself down with all of the other stipulations that come with that. So I think after all of the research we did and now living this lifestyle for 3 years, we have for sure 100% seen the benefit of slow travel over settling down as an expat in one location. We hope that this video just kind of gives you some of those things to think about if you're looking maybe at just settling in one location, to don't just jump onto that, but maybe look at these other options.
Right. These videos that we're doing are really based off your questions to us. So if this video was beneficial to you at all, we'd appreciate a thumbs up. We'd love for you to subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.